Welcome Blue Collar and Scholar Whiskey Club members. It's that time of year again for the 12 Drams of Christmas. And here we are on December 13th, which is day one of the calendar. I'm super excited about this calendar this year. There's lots of amazing whiskeys in the calendar. I'm super excited to share them with you. I really feel like there isn't any slouches. And I'd like to thank club members and family members that helped me get this together this year. You can see I'm situated in my new home, in our dream home here in Powell River on the Clahaman lands, and the ocean is just outside my door, and I got a nice roaring fireplace, which is actually in the corner. This is just on the TV for ambience, but got my tree set up and we're ready to celebrate the Christmas season with you guys. So yeah, this past year, as you guys have noticed, haven't done a whole lot of whiskey stuff. It's been a really crazy year for me and my family. Without going into too much detail, looking forward to 2023. I hope that we can start doing some Zoom tastings again next year. And then also, now that I'm here in Powell River with Scholar Greg Cran, every third Thursday of the month or so, we're doing a in-person tasting at Forest Bistro and Lounge. And Chef John Walls is the owner, proprietor there, puts on these tastings and prepares amazing food dishes to pair with each whiskey as well. So they've done a few already. It's been very successful. The people that go to it thoroughly enjoy it, and I look forward to being a part of that as well. And for those locals that don't know about that, you guys pay attention to the Facebook posts and stuff like that, and we'll send out club emails as well if you want to get in on that. Also, in the following year, in the coming year, I want to start doing a few sort of private club events, which would be something that we haven't really done yet as a club, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. What that would entail would be I would invite club members to come to Powell River, or for those that are already here, to come to my house. Or another location, and instead of me going out and selecting the whiskeys and charging you guys a ticket price to pay for the whiskeys, I think it would be fun if everybody brought something to share with the group, and that could be a lot of fun. And we could do themes, or we could just have a free-for-all, and anybody that wanted to share a whiskey that they thought was special, they could bring. Anyway, that's sort of what I'm envisioning is coming in the near future. Another little housekeeping thing before we get on to the day one dram of the 12 Drams of Christmas. I'm super excited to tell everyone that the Comox Valley Whiskey Festival, which used to take place every year up until COVID, is back on this year. So really excited about that. That's happening at the Sons of Native Sons Hall, I believe it's called, on February 3rd, which is a Friday night. And there's going to be some master's classes that happen downstairs, I believe, before the grand tasting. So yeah, I've been to a couple of the Comox Valley Whiskey Festivals. Greg and I did a master's class and even a dinner pairing with a chef from Locals Restaurant before COVID there, and it was awesome. It was it was a blast. So if you can make it up or make it to the Comox Valley Whiskey Festival, that's happening February 3rd. Check out the Facebook group. I think I just posted a little blurb about it. There may even be a website, although I'm not sure if they're that organized yet. They have asked me about doing a master's class, and I told them I'd be interested. It would just depend on whether or not I can get time off work to get over there for the Friday and stuff. So anyway, yeah, that's super excited. I'm not gonna be able to make it down to the Victoria Whiskey Festival this year, unfortunately, as much as I would absolutely love to. But that sounds like it's gonna be an amazing time too, and congratulations to all you that are able to make it to that. And I expect full reports on what your favorite whiskeys were and your favorite tastings and such. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into day one dram. So yeah, for you, those of you, if you hung your whiskeys on your tree, grab day one now, see if you can find it. Let's see if I can find mine. Oh look, there it is. So there it is, day one dram. Gotta have a blue collar and scholar whiskey glass for this. There it is. Beautiful golden color. Ooh, I can already smell it. I haven't even got up to my nose yet. So yeah, right off the bat, I'm getting huge honey and vanilla. Definitely some oak wood in there, some oak spices. Maybe a bit of coconut. And then there's also like a citrus note in there as well. Beautiful nose. And as we all know, what comes after the nose? The palate. Ooh. That is delicious. Now, I'm not going to give my notes right after the first sip. Usually it's a good idea to go back for a second one before you say anything or develop any opinions on a whiskey. So here's the second sip. Yeah, this is a really spirited dram. It's got a lot of fire in there. Lots of peppery notes, huge peppery notes. But then as I got on the nose, I'm still getting like honey and vanilla and a little bit of that coconut as well. The finish lingers a lot. It's really long finish, and it still sort of falls into line with what I've experienced on the palate and the nose. Is that pepper note that's all the way through, which I love in a whiskey. And that honey, sweetness, lemon. Yeah, what a delicious dram, in my opinion. Hopefully you guys like it too. And now I guess you guys want to know what it is. So the day one of the 12 Drams of Christmas for 2022 Blue Collar and Scholar Whiskey Club is Duncan Taylor Dimensions Strathmill 21-year-old. So yeah, so Strathmill, not a super common or well-known distillery. As far as I know, they don't have any of their own like industry bottlings. tell you a little bit about the whiskey first, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the distillery. So this is an independent bottler by the name of Duncan Taylor, and they have, but what they basically do is they buy single casks, and they present single casks at cask strength in their own bottlings. This is distilled in 1990 and bottled in 2012, pardon me. This is cask number 4239, bottle 183 of 245. That means there's only 245 of these bottles out there ever made from this cask. So that's pretty special right in itself. It's 21 years old, and it's bottled at 54.8% ABV. Delicious. So yeah, the distillery, Strathmill. It's one of 3 distilleries in the town of Keith in Moray, which is considered sort of the malt whiskey country, if you will. It's owned by Diageo, and it is almost exclusively produced to go into a blend of theirs called J&B. If you have seen that on the shelf, that's owned by Diageo as well. And if you really like this Strathmill whiskey and you can't get your hands on a bottle of it, try a bottle of J&B because there's Strathmill in there. Strathmill was originally a corn mill, and in about, I think it was 1891, it was converted into a distillery. At that time, there was a boom in Scotch whiskey, and there was like 30 distilleries all popped up all at once, and a lot of them were converted from other things like mills and such. Strath is a Gaelic word meaning shallow valley, and mill obviously is related to its former use. So that's where the name Strathmill comes from. And I talked to you a little bit about Duncan Taylor being an independent bottler. It was established in 1938, and they're sort of their ethos, if you will, is whiskey without compromise. So, and what they mean by that is when you buy an industry bottling of something, like you go to the liquor store and you buy a bottle of Highland Park 12, if you will, or Macallan something. There's always, when they're bottling that whiskey, there's always a bit of a compromise. So the distiller, if most distillers, I imagine, if they had it their way, would love to present all their whiskeys at cask strength, exactly how they intended, how it came out of the still and into the barrel. But when you're running it as a business and you're trying to not only appeal to a larger audience, if you will, and you're trying to make it more cost effective as far as how much profit you can make, you have a tendency to, most distilleries have a tendency to water the whiskey down a little bit. Some will go as low as 40%, but sometimes less than that. But anyway, so that's what they mean by whiskey without compromise, is they're presenting their whiskeys that they get, these single casks at cask strength, non-chill filtered, no color added, and anything I've ever had from a Duncan Taylor bottling has been top notch. So that's day 1 of the Whiskey Advent Calendar. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long for you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.